Hello everyone, I Deepika Devasmita Panda welcome you all to today's Energy Conversion 2 class. So we are continuing with chapter 1 and today's topic for discussion is production of rotating magnetic field. You can see the contents. Today's contents are production of rotating magnetic field, representation of rotating vectors, and production of the resultant flux. So, starting with production of rotating magnetic field. When three-phase stationary coils are fed with three-phase supply, a uniform rotating magnetic flux of constant magnitude will be produced. Let me tell you, we know whenever there is a presence of coil and a supply is being fed to that coil, there will be production of fluxes. And here, as we are dealing with a magnetic circuit consisting of magnetic poles, we will experience a magnetic flux. And let me tell you, a uniformly rotating magnetic flux will be produced which will have a constant magnitude as the three-phase supply throughout the operation is constant. Secondly, it will now be shown that when three-phase winding displaced in the space by 120 degree, they produce a resultant magnetic flux which rotates in space as if the actual magnetic poles were being rotated mechanically. Let me clear you the point. See, we have three-phase winding, three different phase windings, and they are displaced in the space. We know the space is as a whole 360 degree. So this space is to be divided by three different windings. So the space between each of the phase will be 360 divided by 3. That is nothing but 120 degree. So it is written three-phase winding is displaced in the space by 120 degree. They produce a resultant magnetic flux which will rotate in the space as it would be like the actual magnetic poles were being rotated mechanically. But in fact, the resultant flux is the rotating factor which will rotate. Here you can see the diagram. The principle of a three-phase two-pole stator, we have considered two poles here, having three identical windings placed 120 space degree apart, as shown in the figure. See, this is the starting point. Here are the three phases due to all the three-phase winding. Flux Y, flux R, flux B, and we can see the space between any of the two phases is 120 degree, 120 degree, 120 degree respectively. Now we will see the waveform representation. The fluxes due to three-phase winding is shown in the figure below. See, this is the x-axis, here is the y-axis. In the x-axis, we have taken theta which equals omega t. In the y-axis we have taken phi or flux. And here are the three different fluxes for three different phases. This is the flux for phase 1, this is the flux for phase 2, and this is for phase 3 respectively. Also we can see phi m or the maximum flux here. For all the three different phases, fluxes will be maximum at this point. Okay. So, the waveform is starting from 0. We will be deriving the resultant flux value which is to be rotated for different points like 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So, going forward to the derivation, Let the maximum value of flux due to any one of the three phases be Fm. We can either take Fm, we can also say phi m. The resultant flux Fr or phi r we can say at any instant is given by the vector sum of the individual fluxes phi r, phi y and phi b. Clear? So the resultant flux value will be the vector sum of the individual fluxes phi r, phi y, phi b due to the three phases. Considering values for Fr at 4 instants, that is 1/6 of the time period apart, or we can say corresponding to points marked as 0, 1, 2 and 3 as we have shown in the last figure. Now, on the graphical representation of flux waves, we will first consider the point 1, point 0, which is the first point. Here, the value of phi r is phi m sin omega t. Instead of omega t, we have to take 0. So, phi r becomes 0. Similarly, phi y becomes phi m sin omega t minus 120, that is 0 minus 120, or we can write phi m sin minus 120 degree, which value is minus root 3 by 2 phi m. Similarly, phi b will be phi m sin 0 minus 240 degree, that is nothing but phi m sin minus 240 degree, which value is root 3 by 2 pi m. You can see here pi r becoming 0, pi y is minus root 3 by 2 pi m, pi b is root 3 by 2 pi m. So coming to the vector diagram, this is your pi b, root 3 by 2 pi m, pi r is becoming 0, so we will not consider it, we will neglect it. Here is your pi y's value is minus root 3 by 2 pi m. So we will take the negative reflection of pi y. You can see pi y is this side. We will take minus root 3 by 2 pi m. So here will be your negative reflection of y. Clear? So the resultant of these fluxes at this instant is 1 by 1.5 pi m, which is shown here. The resultant of pi y and pi b is this pi r. Its value is 1.5 pi m. This 1.5 pi m can be derived by the law when two equal vectors are apart from each other with an angle of theta. Here it is 60 degree. Then the resultant formula is pi r becomes 2p cos theta by 2, where p is the individual magnitude of the fluxes. If we will put that value, we will get pi r as 1.5 pi m. Going to the next. At point 1, the next point, where omega t is pi by 6, or we can say 30 degree. Here pi r becomes pi m sin 30 degree, that is 1 by 2 pi m. Pi y becomes minus pi m. Pi b becomes 1 by 2 pi m. We can see in the diagram here. This is pi b, this is pi r, this is pi y, which is minus pi m. So here also the magnitude of resultant flux will be all same, but it has further rotated 30 degree clockwise direction without changing its value. So we can here say at the point 2, where omega t is 60 degree, again the same pi r will be rotating further 30 degree with constant magnitude. And also here we can say the resultant flux has again rotated 30 degree with the same magnitude at omega t equals 90 degree. So we can say, in this way, we can prove that due to balanced supply applied to the three-phase stator winding, a rotating or revolving magnetic field is established in the space which rotate in clockwise direction, which is already shown in different vector diagrams. The resultant flux phi r will be continuously rotating in clockwise direction with a move of further 30-degree value. Thank you all.